Go ahead.
Over here, I'm going to start by checking my seatbelt. I'm making sure that it's not ripped, torn, or frayed. It is not. I'm going to make sure that it latches and unlatches properly, which it does. From here, I'm going to check my driver window. I'm making sure that it is in good condition, it's not broken or cracked, and it is clean. I'm going to check my driver mirrors. They are properly secured. They're not bent, broken, or cracked. I'm going to check my mirrors to make sure that they are properly adjusted and they are not broken or cracked. They are also clean and in good condition. From here, I'm going to check my windshield. My windshield is in good condition. It is clean. It is not broken or cracked. From here, I'm going to check my passenger mirrors. They are properly secured. They are not bent, broken, or cracked. I'm also going to check that my mirrors are properly adjusted and the conditions of the mirrors are in good condition and they are not broken or cracked. I'm also going to check my passenger window, making sure that it is in good condition, it is clean, and it is not broken or cracked. From here, I'm going to check the glove compartment. The glove compartment should have registration along with insurance paperwork and extra fuses. From here, I'm going to make sure that my fire extinguisher is properly secured. The pin is in and it is fully charged to the green. Right in front of it is my triangles. They are properly secured. There should be 3 of them in there and they are not bent, broken, or cracked. From here, I will perform a safe start by pressing on the brake, making sure my parking brake is applied, turning the key. As I'm looking at my dash, I see that my ABS lights indicator came on and came off, which tells me that it is working properly. And I will begin to start the vehicle. The vehicle has started. From here, I will check all of my gauges. My transmission oil temperature gauge has risen and is at operating range. My engine coolant temperature has risen and is at operating range. My engine oil PSI has risen and is in operating range. My RPM has risen and is in operating range. My speedometer has risen and is in operating range. Both my air pressure gauges have risen and are in operating range. My volt gauge has risen and is in operating range. My fuel tank has risen and is in operating range. And I want to make sure that I have enough fuel for the day. Here, I'm going to check my left blinker indicator is working properly. My right blinker indicator is working properly. My 4-way flasher indicators are working properly. My high beam indicators are working properly. From here, I'm going to check my windshield wipers. They are properly secured. They are not bent, broken, or cracked. I also see the rubber strip on the windshield wipers are not torn, so that tells me that my windshield wiper blade conditions are good. From here, I make sure that my windshield wipers are working properly and that my windshield washer fluid is also working properly. From here, I will do my air brake test, which I will make sure that my wheels are chocked. In this case, my air pressure is fully charged. The governor has kicked off. My wheels are chocked. And I will perform an air brake test by shutting off the vehicle and turning the vehicle back on. I will let my gauges stabilize. My gauges have stabilized. From here, I will now begin to push in the parking brake, and I should not lose more than 2 pounds of pressure in a minute. That minute is now up. I will now test the service brake leaks by firmly applying the brakes, letting the gauges stabilize, and doing a 1-minute timer again, and I should not lose more than 3 pounds of pressure in that time. My gauges have stabilized. I will begin my timer. A minute has gone by. I have not lost more than 3 pounds of pressure. From here, I will begin to bleed or fan my brakes until my audible and visual warning indicators come on at about 60 psi. My audible and visual warning lights have came on at about 60 psi. From there, I will begin to fan my brakes even more until my parking brake engages at around 25 to 40 psi. My parking brake has engaged at about 29 psi. From here, I will begin another safe start by making sure my parking brake is pulled, my foot's on the brake. I've started my vehicle. My air pressure gauge will rise. I will push on the gas pedal to give it some RPMs to help the air pressure build up. My warning indicator should go off at about 60 psi. My indicators have went off. At about when it reaches 85 psi, I will set a timer for 45 seconds, and it should rise from 85 to 100 psi in that 45 seconds. We are at 85. I will begin my 45-second timer. It has been less than 45 seconds and I am at 100 psi, which tells me that everything is working properly. From here, I will continue to rev the engine at about 1,000 RPMs until my pressure gauges are fully charged at about 120 to 125 psi. The governor will kick on. My governor has kicked on, as you heard. From here, I would get out and unchock my wheels and get back in and perform my next brake test, which will be the parking brake test. From here, I will make sure that my parking brake is pulled. We are in neutral. I will throw it in drive and do a tug test by pushing on the gas pedal a little bit, and we should not go anywhere. We do not go anywhere, which tells me that my parking brake is working properly. From here, I will perform a service brake test by putting my foot on the brake, making sure the parking brake is applied, throwing it in neutral. I will now release the parking brake. I will put it back, the truck back in drive, and I will go forward a little bit, and I will engage my brakes, and I should not have my wheel tugged to the left or right. My wheel is not tugged to the left or right, which tells me that my service brakes are working properly. From here, I will throw it back in neutral and engage the parking brake, and this will complete my in-cab and brake test inspection.